The drill sergeant's boots slammed to a halt so hard the ground seemed to flinch. 50 recruits locked up behind him like someone yanked the plug on their nervous systems. The bleachers went dead quiet. Phones froze halfway to faces. Then his eyes cut through the crowd and pinned me, sitting 4 rows up in jeans and a gray hoodie, the sister nobody expected to amount to anything. He marched straight at me, every step a gunshot in the silence, stopped 2 feet away, snapped a salute sharp enough to slice sunlight, and said loud enough for the whole post to hear, "General Quarters wasn't informed you'd be on deck today, ma'am." My father's beer hit the concrete and exploded. My mother's hand flew to her throat. My brother Ethan, ramrod straight in formation, turned his head so fast I thought his neck would snap. Every single person in that stadium stared at the family failure like I'd just stepped off a stealth helicopter in full dress whites. I didn't move. "Carry on, Master Sergeant. I'm just a spectator." But the damage was done. The lie they told themselves for 8 years had just been executed in public. My name is Harper Kane, and until that moment my family's favorite bedtime story was simple. Harper washed out of officer candidate school. Harper cracked. Harper couldn't hack it. They loved that story. It made Ethan the hero and me the cautionary tale. Turns out some stories are classified above top secret. That morning I'd driven in wearing the most forgettable clothes I own, parked at the back of a lot, and took a seat alone. Dad walked right past me bragging to strangers. At least one of my kids finished what they started. Mom nodded along, pearls gleaming like tiny handcuffs. Ethan marched across the field, looking like every recruiting poster ever made. I was proud of him. I just never expected the past to stand up and salute. When Master Sergeant Hale locked eyes with me, I knew exactly why. 6 years ago his team had been pulled out of a kill zone in Kandahar because someone with no name and no uniform rewrote the intel in real time and fed it through a ghost channel. Hale never forgot the voice on the other end of that sat link. My voice. The fallout was immediate. Dad chased me to the parking lot shouting questions he had no clearance to ask. I left him standing in the exhaust. My secure phone vibrated once. Observation window closed. Returned to silence. I thought that was the end of it. It wasn't. Sunday dinner was a victory parade for Ethan, banners, slideshows, the whole town invited. I showed up because Mom still signs her texts like military orders. They stuck me at the kids' table even though I'm 31. Dad toasted real commitment. Aunt Lisa asked if I was still between jobs. I smiled, refilled tea, and waited. Then my coat buzzed against my ribs, not the phone they knew about, the other one. Single line, glowing red. Proximity trigger. Kane's signature active. Location, Fort Drummond. Now. Someone was inside my old sandbox. I slipped out without goodbyes. By 0200 I was back on post, moving through corridors that don't officially exist. Major Valdez met me in a windowless room that smelled of cold coffee and toner. She didn't waste words. "Someone used your legacy credential. Not a hack. A walk-in." The only person on the planet who still had physical access to my old cipher key was Riley, Ethan's battle buddy, the 19-year-old I used to babysit, the kid who once asked if the rumors about ghost officers were true. They brought her in shaking, eyes wide, holding the tiny black token I'd given her years ago as a joke. Insurance policy, I'd called it. She thought it was broken. It wasn't. It was a dormant key. And someone had just woken it up to frame me for cooking intel 5 years dead. Riley looked at me like I was a myth that had learned to bleed. "I didn't know," she whispered. "Some guy paid me $20 to plug it into the terminal and take a picture. Said it was a prank." The guy had a name, Marcus Dre. Former colleague. Current traitor. He'd buried a logic bomb in the system years ago and needed my fingerprint to detonate it. Riley was the perfect unwitting courier. We had 6 hours before the bomb rewrote history and hanged me for treason. Riley sat beside me in the dark while I unraveled Dre's code, like pulling a thread from a sweater until the whole sleeve came off. She asked questions, handed me coffee, and somewhere between midnight and dawn she stopped shaking and started fighting. When we finally locked the back door Dre had built, The sun was coming up bloody over the desert. The tribunal was short. Dre smirked until Riley, 19, terrified, magnificent, stood up and read the access logs in a voice that didn't waver once. My name stayed clean. Dre left in cuffs. Afterward, Riley found me on the tarmac. She pressed her new rank pin into my palm and said, "I want to earn the next one the way you earned yours." I hugged her so hard her feet left the ground. Ethan was waiting by my car. He didn't say much, just pulled me into a hug that felt like 8 years of apologies neither of us knew how to voice. As the transport lifted off, I looked down at the base shrinking beneath me, lights blinking out one by one. For the first time since I was 19, I wasn't disappearing. I was finally going home, on my own terms.